Have you ever dreamt about starting a new chapter of your life in Canada, specifically in the beautiful province of Nova Scotia? Well, if that thought has ever crossed your mind, you're in, because in this video, we're going to unravel the incredible opportunities awaiting you in Nova Scotia, Canada, through the Occupations in Demand program. But here's the real question. Are you ready to discover your pathway to a brighter future? If the answer is yes, stay tuned, because you won't want to miss a single detail. And hey, while you're here, hit that like button, share this video with your friends who might be interested, and subscribe to our channel because we're about to embark on an exciting journey together. Now, let's dive right in. Alright, friends, let me tell you all you need to know about Nova Scotia's Occupations in Demand program. Nova Scotia may be the second smallest province in Canada, but it's a natural resource that is enormous, and there is a growing demand for more highly skilled workers. The province is a participant in the Provincial Nominee Program. Under this, the provincial government of Nova Scotia can nominate foreign workers who qualify for the program. Successful applicants will receive a Nova Scotia Provincial Nominee. This certificate will speed up the Canadian Immigration Permanent Resident Visa application process under the Nova Scotia Provincial Nominee Program PNP. You see, this program has a lot going for it. For starters, it only requires a minimum language proficiency of CLB Level 4. The age limit is quite reasonable, falling between 21 to 55 years. Plus, here's the surprise. No PNP, Provincial Nominee Program, fees are involved, which means you won't have to shell out any provincial government fees to participate in this program. It's a win-win. On top of that, there are no CRS, comprehensive ranking system, requirements, and you won't need to create an express entry profile. Best of all, there are no high-status cutoffs to worry about. Oh, and did I mention that eligible occupations span tiers 3, 4, and 5? Pretty awesome, right? Alright, let's dive deeper into what this program is all about. First things first, let's talk about the minimum English language requirement for this program. You'll need to meet above-mentioned requirements. Plus, there's no need to worry about PNP fees. You'll be paying your fees directly to the IRC, Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada for your main PR, permanent residency, application. Now, when it comes to eligible occupations, they're spread across tiers 3, 4, and 5, but we won't rush it. We'll dive into that in just a bit. So, what is Nova Scotia's Occupations in Demand program? Well, this program is all about welcoming newcomers who have job offers in occupations that Nova Scotia is in dire need of. They identify these high-demand occupations based on labor market information. But a word of caution, these eligible occupations can change, so you'll want to stay updated. Now, let's talk about what you need to be eligible for this program. To get in on the action, you'll need a full-time permanent job offer from a Nova Scotia employer in one of the specified occupations. Let's take a quick preview of that list. 1. NOC 33,102 nurse aides. 2. NOC 65,200 food and beverage servers. 3. NOC 65,201 food counter attendants, kitchen helpers, and related support occupations. 4. NOC 65,310 light duty cleaners. 5. NOC 73,300 transport truck drivers. 6. NOC 73,400 heavy equipment operators. 7. NOC 75,110 construction trades helpers and laborers. And guess what? It's not just about the job offer. There are a few other criteria you'll need to meet. Firstly, you should have at least 1 year of work experience related to the job. Secondly, your age should fall between 21 to 55 years. Thirdly, you've got to have that high school diploma. Fourthly, make sure you've got the right training, skills, and accreditation for the job. Fifthly, prove your language ability by reaching at least CLB Level 4, even if English or French is your first language. Lastly, and of course, you'll need to show that you've got the financial resources to make a successful move to Nova Scotia. One fantastic aspect of this program is that it doesn't play by the express entry rules. That means you won't be sweating over high CRS cutoffs. So, even if you didn't quite make the cut for express entry, this program might just be your golden ticket. Another brilliant feature is the age limit, which is set between 21 to 55 years. So, even if you're a bit on the mature side, as long as you have a job offer from a Nova Scotia employer in one of the selected occupations and meet all the other requirements, you've got a shot at obtaining permanent residency. But here's the surprise. You absolutely must have that full-time permanent job offer from a Nova Scotia employer in one of the specified occupations before you can even think about applying for immigration through this program. When we say full-time jobs, we mean you'll be working year-round for a minimum of 30 hours per week. Permanent, in this context, means there's no end date to your employment. And here's an important note, this stream is all about economic immigration. So, you can't use it to reunite with family, seek protection as a refugee, or claim humanitarian or compassionate grounds. It's strictly for economic purposes. Now that you've got the lowdown on eligibility, you're probably wondering if this program is the right fit for you. Well, let's break it down. Nova Scotia's Occupations in Demand program could be the perfect match if you meet these criteria. You've got a full-time job offer for a permanent position in Nova Scotia. The job is located in Nova Scotia. You're planning to make Nova Scotia your permanent home. Your employer is legit, meaning they're a registered Nova Scotia employer. Your paycheck is fair for the job. Your job fits one of the selected NOCs or job titles mentioned in the program. In addition to that, you'll need to. You fall between the ages of 21 and 55, hold at least a high school diploma, have the training, skills, and credentials needed for the job, prove your immigration status in your current country of residence. Oh, and one more thing, you should have worked at least 12 complete calendar months within the last 5 years, with a minimum of 60 hours related to the job you're being offered. This work must be paid, so no volunteering or unpaid internships are in the mix. Now that we've got your eligibility sorted, let's talk about what you need to keep in mind before you dive into the application process. First things first, you need to apply at 2 different levels of government, the Nova Scotia provincial government and the federal government through our Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. Once the Nova Scotia government nominates you for the program, they'll send you a nomination certificate. At the same time, they'll notify IRC about your nomination. So, now that you're all geared up to make your move to Nova Scotia, let's chat about the costs involved. As I mentioned earlier, there are no application fees for the NSNP, Nova Scotia Nominee Program, Occupations in Demand Program. However, there may be some costs related to your application. These could include translation fees, if you need to translate documents into English or French, and don't forget about the fees charged by representatives, like immigration consultants or lawyers. Additionally, you might have to pay for English or French language testing, such as IELTS or CELPIP, but that's not government fees. Now, let's move on to the next step, submitting your application to the government. Once you're nominated by the Nova Scotia government, you'll need to apply for a permanent residence visa through IRC within 6 months of receiving your nomination certificate. You can also submit applications for your spouse and dependents if you have any. But before you jump in, you will want to make sure you've got all your documents in order. Here's a checklist to keep in mind. 1. All your documents must be in PDF format. 2. Documents with images should be scanned in color, while text-only documents can be in black and white. 3. The total size of your documents should be no more than 50 megabytes. 4. Each file name should be no more than 50 characters. 5. Your documents must be clear and legible, scanned at a resolution of 300 dots per inch. A word of caution, the government may close your application if they find any missing, unsigned, unclear, enhanced or edited documents. So, be extra careful. Oh, and remember, documents in languages other than English or French must be translated by a certified translator. You'll need to submit both the original and translated copies. Alright, let's break down the types of documents you'll need. Passports for you and everyone immigrating with you, including your spouse and children if applicable. Ensure that your passports are valid for at least 2 years from the date of your application. Don't include the original passports. Provide copies of the pages with relevant information, like passport numbers, dates of issue and expiry, photos, and more. Documents related to your spouse and children, if they're coming with you, such as copies of marriage certificates, birth certificates, custody documents, and permission for your children to come to Canada. Also, include copies of adoption papers if applicable. If you currently live in Canada, you'll need to include proof of your legal status in the country, like a work permit. And if you live in a country other than your country of citizenship, you'll need to prove your legal status there as well. If you've applied to immigrate to Canada before, make sure to include copies of all letters you've received from the Canadian government or any provincial or territorial government regarding each application. Now, let's talk about documents related to your move to Nova Scotia, particularly your finances. You might want to provide bank statements from the past 3 months showing all your account balances and transaction history. If you have investments, include statements from your investment portfolio, showing fixed deposits and terms for withdrawing funds before they mature. But keep in mind, real estate and personal items like jewelry, furniture, and vehicles shouldn't be included in this financial documentation. All right, friends, we've covered a lot of ground here. Now, it's time for you to gather all your documents and get ready to submit your application to the government. Click the link in the video description to apply now and seize this incredible opportunity. The path to Nova Scotia is just a click away. In conclusion, Nova Scotia's Occupations in Demand program is your ticket to a brighter future in Canada. Don't miss out on this chance to turn your dreams into reality. So, there you have it, folks. I really hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you did, please do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for joining us today, and remember, your journey starts now. Apply today, and until next time, take care.